Hello, welcome to this video on my Wwise music system. In this video I'm going to be breaking down my Wwise project as well as moving on to Unreal to show you how I place the events and how I use the events within Unreal to create a dynamic music system. Let's get into it. So within Wwise I've got the music system here, which is split into a night and day variation. I chose two different types of integration between these. So as you can see, the night is set into a switch container which switches between these two music playlists, and within these two playlists we've got the segments which have the pieces of music in. So when I exported the piece, I labeled everything 1 to 5, 5 to 9, so on and so on, so that when I was placing them into this, it all works in chronological order, so the backing track remains smooth and consistent throughout. But then the 1 and 2 means there's different variations between that. It'll be a different violin line, different cello, different accompaniment each time. So every single time it plays over one of these, it's randomized. I did the same thing for night. So the same sort of thing, got the pre-roll so that the audio tail from the end here is brought back into this, so it allows for a nice smooth, it's not a sudden cut or a clip or anything like that. It's smooth and it's very randomized. For the transition, I wanted to make it as musical as I could, which Wwise does very well. So when the player hits the event in Unreal to transition, it will go to the next beat before it transitions, and then it will do a fade out and a fade in of both sections, and as well as that it's all playing in time. The two playlists are playing in time, which allows for a nice smooth transition instead of you hit the event and the music restarts, but it's the town music or the street music. It helps the dynamic process of everything. And for the day system, same idea as the night. I have the randomization set up. However, I went crazy with this one. As you can see, there's a lot of tracks and there's a lot of randomization boxes. These are all inspired. This sort of randomization is inspired by Fmod's multi-instruments, which it's a little bit more simple to use in Fmod, but it pays off to do it in Wwise as well. Same sort of thing same sort of thing with that, but a different implementation style, because I grouped these instruments together in terms of frequencies and pitch. So I wanted the piece, as you progress through the game or explore the game, the music gets wider and more. There's a bigger pitch range. So I grouped the cello and the flute together, the bass, flute and viola, and then the basses and violin, and there's the two ends of the spectrum that allow the piece to really develop at the when you're in the center of the village, town, whatever the level is. But within these buses, I set the voice volume to -96, so it's digital silence whenever the game starts, and then that moves us on to events to show you how I implemented everything. Within events, so I'll start with the day system. So as you can see, there's a lot more events than in the night time. But within this, so I've got the play event, which plays the town piece, and if the night piece is playing for whatever reason, because in the game I'm able to transition from nighttime to daytime, daytime to nighttime, all that sort of stuff, and so this just ensures that there's a nice transition between the two levels by fading out the night music and the ambience to a stop. This play event also brings down the volume of those audio buses just to make sure that they're not playing when the game starts, because that's when it's only supposed to be the backing track. I then made these in and out events, so that just simply changes the voice volume over here, changes the voice volume to 0 and to 96, just to bring in the instruments more musically. And then for the nighttime system, because it works on a switch, I did the same sort of thing for the play event. By the way, I did a daytown that stops. So it stops on a fade. It just creates a nice musical transition between the two levels. But because the night system works on a switch, I set up 2 events that go from town to street and street to town. So that just within Unreal tells Wwise, oh, okay, we're in this section now. Let's do that transition. So that's the music system within Wwise. And so let's move on to Unreal to show you how it works within that. So one of the first things that I did within Unreal was bring in the events that I made in Wwise. So we've got the violin, we've got all the audio buses that come in, we've got the play village day. And so I moved this event into the level blueprint so that every time the game is, this level is loaded or played, it starts playing the day music. That just gets everything going. That starts the music system. And to bring in all of the other instruments, I created these trigger boxes. So there's one on the gate, then there's where the houses started, and the marketplace in the middle. And each of these have their own individual blueprint, which has a overlap and an end overlap. So when the player is within the trigger box, it plays the event to bring the audio bus volume up, which brings in the instrument, and vice versa. When you leave the event trigger box, it plays the out event that I made, which brings everything down. I also created over in this far section, I created just one that brings everything in. So we just got all the events come in just for players so that you can go over there and just listen to the full piece of music as I composed it. Let's have a quick listen to that just to show how that works. So here the music starts, and as you go in, you can hear the flute start. There's the cellos, and then as we go further in, we've got the bass flute comes in along with the viola. And then you get further in, you hear the basses doing a legato or staccato. It depends which variation it lands on. So now it's doing a bit of pizzicato just because that's the variation that it hit. And so as you get further away, so this part still has the bass. This is still the trigger box within the basses and the violins. But as you go through here, you'll hear the basses and the violins go off. The piece sort of thins out a little bit, but I wanted the basses and the bass flute and violas to still be in this section, just so that when you go through here, you hear everything die away, and it's just the piano. And just quickly while we're here, I'll just show off the transition between day and night so that you can hear the fade that I did, so that it's a lot smoother rather than it just being jagged. And now that we are moved on to the nighttime, let me just change the level. So similar thing with the night section. The first thing I did was create the event begin play, which allows the player to listen to this for the music system to start the night music. That also, if you remember in the event, it fades out the day. That's how you get the nice transition between the two. This one's a little bit simpler. I applied the same ideology where we've got an event trigger around the area that I want the music to dynamically change, which has, let me just find the piece. So we've got the town to street, and I put everything into this one just because it was easier to have it that way, rather than have 2 blueprints, because I'd have to make 2 trigger boxes, which just, it made things messy. It wasn't really a point to do that. So within this, it just switches the state using the event street to town, so it just changes that state within Wwise, and vice versa again. And I also implemented the town over there just to keep things consistent between the two levels. So that is it. I will show off this one as well, just to show off the pieces of music. So again, each of these variations they're different every single time they play, so it keeps things nice and fresh. See, but the audio tail from the previous segment is still playing over this, over the next variation, which allows it to be a lot smoother between the two sections. So yeah, so that works really nicely. So that was my music system. Thank you very much for watching. I had a lot of fun with this project. Learning Wwise has been very rewarding. It's opened up a whole new aspect of music for me. So, and I'm very excited to carry on uncovering new techniques, composing for different games. I'm very excited for what's to come with this skill. So thank you very much for watching, and bye.